Stadium Events. Stadium Events was released by Bandai for the NES in September 1987 as part of the Family Fun Fitness Pad line. Its US debut was short-lived. Nintendo bought the rights to the hardware, rebranded it as the Power Pad, and recalled all unsold Stadium Events cards. Only around 200 NTSC copies are estimated to have ever reached stores' shelves before the recall. Many were destroyed, making it the rarest officially released NES game in North America. Collectors regard sealed or complete copies as crown jewels, one sold and graded at a 6.5 in 2023, while items in flawless condition have fetched over $40,000. Even lesser examples have sold for thousands, like one found in a Florida GameStop in 2004 for just $10, later confirmed as genuine. Its rarity stems not from cryptic myths, but from a swift corporate pivot. Nintendo purchased the pad design, pulled Stadium Events, and repackaged it as world-class track meet. That rebranding effort ensured nearly all original cartridges were recalled or repurposed. Today, Stadium Events remains the holy grail of NES collecting, an obscure footnote turned legendary treasure. Nintendo World Championships 1990. In 1990, Nintendo held a massive gaming competition that toured across 29 US cities, the Nintendo World Championships. At the heart of this event was a special NES cartridge containing modified versions of Super Mario Bros., Rad Racer, and Tetris. Contestants had 6 minutes and 21 seconds to score as high as possible across all three. Only 90 gray cartridges were made for the finalists, and just 26 gold cartridges were awarded to winners of a separate mail-in contest through Nintendo Power. The gray versions were given out after the competition, but the gold ones were never sold in stores, making them even more desirable. These cartridges are now among the most valuable video game items ever made. One of the gold carts reportedly sold for over $100,000. Their uniquely timed challenge mode, paired with their extreme scarcity, turned them into collector legends. To this day, the Nintendo World Championships cartridges are a symbol of competitive gaming's earliest roots. Atlantis 2. In the early 1980s, Magic released Atlantis for the Atari 2600, a fast-paced shooter where players defended an underwater city. But what made Atlantis 2 legendary wasn't gameplay, it was how few people even knew it existed. The game never sold in stores. Instead, it was created specifically for a contest. Players were instructed to send in high scores from the original Atlantis, and the best performers received Atlantis 2 by mail to compete in a final championship round. The catch? Atlantis 2 was nearly identical to the original, except it ran faster, had slightly different scoring, and was nearly impossible to distinguish at a glance. There was no retail box, no widespread promotion, and no mass production. Only a handful of copies are known to exist today. Because of its secretive distribution and nearly invisible differences, Atlantis 2 became one of the most elusive cartridges ever made. It's easily considered a collector's riddle disguised as a game. Tetris Mega Drive. Most gamers associate Tetris with Nintendo, but Sega almost beat them to it. In 1989, a version of Tetris was developed for the Sega Mega Drive Genesis, fully functional, fully complete, and ready for release. However, a licensing disaster struck. Nintendo had secured the console rights from the USSR-based distributor Elorg, and when Sega's version was discovered, legal pressure shut it down immediately. Only a small number of Sega's Tetris cartridges were ever produced, likely for internal use or test distribution. The official release was cancelled before it hit shelves. As a result, only around 10 to 15 cartridges are confirmed to exist today, and they're some of the rarest in all of retro gaming. One copy reportedly sold for over $16,000 at auction. What makes this version so fascinating is that it works perfectly. It wasn't a prototype. It's a full game that simply got erased by legal firepower. Sega's Tetris is a glimpse at a console war that never fully played out. Kizuna Encounter. Kizuna Encounter Super Tag Battle was a 2D fighting game released by NSK for the Neo Geo in 1996. In Japan, it was a fairly standard arcade release, but the European version for the Neo Geo AES home console, that's where things get strange. Unlike the Japanese and North American markets, the European home release was produced in extremely limited quantities, and no one knows exactly why. Only a handful of legitimate PAL copies have ever surfaced, with some estimates suggesting fewer than 15 in existence. One complete box version sold at auction for over $12,000, and that number keeps rising. The game itself plays fine, but the mystery around its distribution made it a holy grail for collectors. What separates Kizuna Encounter from other rare games is how ordinary it seems on the surface. No grand tournament, no controversial content, just a solid fighter lost in the shuffle of poor marketing and low European demand. Sometimes, rarity isn't about hype, it's about a game simply falling through the cracks. Nintendo PowerFest 94. In 1994, Nintendo launched its final official competition of the SNES era, the PowerFest. Similar to the earlier World Championships, it featured a custom-made cartridge containing timed challenges from 3 games, Super Mario Bros., The Lost Levels, Super Mario Kart, and Ken Griffey Jr. Presents Major League Baseball. Unlike some of these other rare games, the PowerFest cartridge was never intended for sale. It was used exclusively at competition kiosks across North America and then collected and stored, or destroyed, by Nintendo staff. For years, collectors believed they were gone forever, until 2 authentic cartridges were found, both verified and preserved. Each cartridge contains an internal timer and scoring system built specifically for the event. It's essentially a one-of-a-kind challenge mode that no other SNES cartridge can replicate. With only 2 known copies, PowerFest 94 is one of the rarest and most technically unique competition carts ever created. In the gaming world, it's practically a museum piece. Blockbuster World Championships 2. In 1995, Blockbuster Video partnered with Acclaim and Nintendo to host the Blockbuster World Video Game Championships 2. It was a national in-store competition using exclusive cartridges built for the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. They were time challenge carts, combining portions of NBA Jam Tournament Edition and Judge Dredd with custom scoring systems and restrictions tailored for the event. After the competition ended, participants were supposed to return the cartridges. They were never sold or given out, but a small number slipped through the cracks. Today, very few verified SNES copies exist in the wild, and even fewer Genesis versions. Complete, authentic examples have sold for upwards of $10,000, especially with original labels and documentation. Unlike other rare games born from obscurity, this one is rare because of its visibility. Millions participated, but nearly no one kept the evidence. That irony, a huge national event now nearly erased, is what makes the Blockbuster World Championships 2 cartridge so legendary. Nintendo Campus Challenge 1991. In 1991, Nintendo launched the Campus Challenge, a college tour competition that followed in the footsteps of the World Championships. Like before, a special NES cartridge was created specifically for the event, featuring customized versions of Super Mario Bros. 3, Pinbot, and Dr. Mario. Players competed to score as high as possible within a time limit. After the tour ended, all copies were believed to be destroyed. For years, no known cartridge existed, until 2006, when a lone copy surfaced at a garage sale in New York. It had been recovered from a former Nintendo employee's stash and was confirmed to be genuine. That cartridge sold for over $20,000, and to this day, it remains the only known authentic copy of Nintendo Campus Challenge 1991. What makes this game so unique isn't just its rarity, it's that it was gone for over a decade. For collectors, it became a ghost story with a twist ending. One of Nintendo's most elusive artifacts was real, and hidden in plain sight: Gamma Attack. Gamma Attack is one of the rarest and most mysterious video games ever made for the Atari 2600. Developed by a tiny company called Gamation in the early 1980s, the game was programmed by a single developer, Robert L. Eskin Jr., and only intended for very limited mail order distribution. What sets Gamma Attack apart isn't just that it's exclusive, it's that only one original copy is known to exist. For years, collectors debated whether it even qualified as a released title. But the lone cartridge, verified as authentic and functioning, has cemented its place in video game history. In 2008, it was listed on eBay for $500,000. Though it didn't sell, the listing alone reignited its legendary status. The game itself is a simple alien invasion shooter, but its value has nothing to do with gameplay. It's the definition of a collector's unicorn, a game so scarce, most players will never even see a photo of it outside of online forums. Air Raid. Out of the hundreds of games made for the Atari 2600, Air Raid stands out for one unforgettable reason: its bizarre sky blue cartridge with a built-in T-shaped handle. Released by a nearly unknown company called Men-A-Vision in the 1980s, Air Raid saw little to no marketing, minimal distribution, and no major retail presence. For years, collectors weren't even sure it was a real commercial product. The game itself is a basic side-scrolling shooter, but the physical cartridge became the real story. Only a few loose copies are known to exist, and box versions are even more difficult to come across. In 2010, one box copy, complete with manual, sold at auction for over $30,000. Another service in 2012 and fetched a similar price. What makes Air Raid so legendary isn't just the scarcity, it's the mystique. A strange plastic artifact from a forgotten publisher rediscovered decades later like buried treasure. Among Atari collectors, finding a box Air Raid is like finding a golden ticket, only fewer were made. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more.